Tech entrepreneur Bryan Johnson.
Bryan Johnson.
Entrepreneur Bryan Johnson.
This is 45-year-old tech mega millionaire Bryan Johnson. Last year, he spent $2 million on his health with the goal of becoming the next evolution of human and living forever. That's more than what Tom Brady, Cristiano Ronaldo, and LeBron James are said to spend on their training and recovery.
My objective with Blueprint is to demonstrate aging escape velocity using the best science, trying to do all the appropriate interventions to neutralize my aging process.
He calls his health protocol and philosophy Blueprint. But the real question is it working? After 18 months of adherence, Bryan and his team claim he's reduced his age by 5.1 years, taking him from 47 to 42.5, which, according to published data, is a world record. He's slowed his rate of aging to 0.76, meaning that for every 365 days, he ages 277 days, effectively netting him the months of October, November, and December for free. According to pretty much every fitness test you could think of, he is stronger and fitter than most male 18-year-olds. And he's achieved perfect biomarkers in every category and the optimal muscle-to-fat ratio. Bryan, if you're watching this, I get that you're leaning that you're proud of your physique, but I can't help but feel that I've seen a little bit too much skin. Bryan isn't the first super rich person to spend millions of dollars a year on their health. Jeff Bezos apparently aged in reverse since founding Amazon. I think it's fair to assume that he may be on a little bit of the secret sauce. Former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey made headlines in 2019 when he announced that he fasts for 22 hours a day and often goes without anything but water for days on end. Billionaire PayPal founder Peter Thiel has spoken publicly about his desire to live forever and has been very criticized for utilizing transfusions of young people's blood to facilitate his aging process. What's different about Bryan, however, is that he publishes all of his health data for the public to review, and in the process of doing so, records everything he does to optimize his health.
I'm the only person that has publicly posted my data. So I'm not saying, here's my protocol and believe me. I'm saying, here's my protocol, here's all my data, and here's what I'm experimenting with next, and here's where I've made mistakes, and here's where I'm trying to fix it.
When I found out that he publishes all of this information for free online, I totally immersed myself in learning everything about his health philosophy and protocol. A lot of what he does is seriously cool, but is a serious undertaking and can be pretty daunting. Here is a summary and list of 7 key takeaways from his protocol and research you can implement to improve your quality of health that don't require you to spend $2 million a year and hire a team of 30 doctors. We overeat, deprive ourselves of sleep, drink stupid amounts of alcohol, vape, devour junk food, smoke, mindlessly scroll on social media, skip going to the gym hundreds of thousands of times in our lifetime, even when we know that these behaviors are self-destructive, shorten our lifespan, accelerate disease and aging, cloud our judgment, and make us feel absolutely miserable. This is what led to the birth of Blueprint. Despite his successes, raising 3 kids and selling his business, Braintree Venmo, for $800 million, when 7 p.m. rolled around, Bryan couldn't stop himself from engaging in self-destructive behavior and indulging in every piece of bad food in sight.
Ironically, removing those things from my life have now become the simplest thing to do because I now look at those as absurd things to do as an intelligent being.
What if we didn't commit self-harm? What if these self-destructive behaviors weren't encouraged and normalized by society? If you would like to stop this cycle of self-destructive behavior and insanity, Bryan recommends you take the first step of identifying the worst version of yourself. He calls this version of himself the rascal. For many of us, this is the version of ourselves that gets home at 7 p.m. after a long, stressful day of work, eats everything in sight, and watches Netflix until 1 a.m. in the morning to try for one moment to soothe the pain of life. This is Evening Billy, a rascal that is an overpowering monster, indifferent about my goals, dreams, aspirations, and needs. A sweet talker, an expert rationalizer, Evening Billy ruins life quality for morning and daytime Billy. As a result of the poor choices you make in the evening, you are plagued by awful sleep, weight gain, poor health, accelerated aging and disease, turbulent emotions, and a depressing outlook on life. So what's the solution to this? Revoke the 7 p.m. version of yourself's ability to make decisions. Step 1. Identify your rascal. Step 2. List what decisions they are and are not authorized to make. Step 3. Wait for them to appear. Step 4. Approve or deny their request using Step 2's list. And Step 5. Celebrate that you have stopped yourself from succumbing to these self-destructive behaviors. Personally, I stopped bringing my phone into my bedroom to prevent myself from doom scrolling on social media until 1 a.m. in the morning. And I revoked Evening Billy's decision-making authority to eat food by consuming all of my meals and calories prior to 4 p.m. Speaking of food, what is a healthy diet?
My breakfast consists of broccoli, cauliflower, black lentils, mushrooms, garlic, and ginger. My second meal is a nutty pudding made of macadamia nuts, walnuts, flaxseed, berries. And then my last meal of the day is vegetables, berries, nuts, seeds. And in between I have 15 grams of 100% dark chocolate and 30 milliliters of extra virgin olive oil.
This is what a day's worth of food looks like for Bryan. He currently fasts for 16 to 18 hours per day, eats a vegan diet comprising of 1,977 calories, which is broken down as 19% protein, 33% carbohydrates, and 48% fat, and munches
Over 70 pounds of vegetables a month.
Each meal has been methodically crafted based on gold standard scientific evidence for nutrition, and his diet continues to be modified at the introduction of new evidence. As a result of adhering to this diet for 18 months, Bryan is very, very lean, coming in at 7.1% body fat. Given the physical conditioning and quality of health that Bryan has achieved, this counters the widely adopted perception that veganism and caloric restriction or being in a deficit makes you frail. Fuck you, Liver King, the beta Bryan Johnson. Surprisingly, this approach to eating isn't as expensive as you might think. On his website, Bryan claims that eating like this would cost you approximately $1,700 per month. His approach to food is certainly pretty extreme and may be daunting for those of you watching this. Bryan's 15-year-old son eats more or less exactly as Bryan does, other than the fact that he adds chicken into one of his meals, and recently took his meals into school to eat for lunch. His friend's response to what he was munching at the lunch table was pretty hilarious. For those of you wanting to take your first step in establishing the best possible diet and refining your choice of food sources, I would recommend you establish how many calories you should be eating per day in order to improve your body composition using this calculator on screen. You can then complete a gut health test, which will help you improve your gut health with food suggestions tailored for your body and lifestyle. There are an array of gut health tests you can purchase. I've personally used Viome and Omnos. In order to maintain optimal health, Bryan's diet is supported by supplementation. This is a list of all the supplements that Bryan takes every day. It's a hell of a lot of pills and is definitely pretty extreme. Some of these require a prescription from the doctor and others are experimental drugs.
This is given typically to diabetics. It's been also taken off-label for longevity purposes.
All supplement protocols should be based on regular measurements and testings, as Bryan's is. And this of course means that an optimal supplement protocol for you may differ. There is no magical pill or supplement that will help you maintain optimal health and reverse aging. The problem with supplements is that most people have no idea of what supplements they should be taking, why they should be taking it, when they should be taking it, how much of it they should be taking. Supplements should be utilized to support your diet and should be chosen based on regular individual blood work, as opposed to being required to take 100+ pills per day. For those of you that want to take 8 pills per day and ensure your supplementation is personalized for you specifically, Bionic, the company that I use, offers this exact service for £149 per month. Your personalized, clinically proven formula is condensed into 8 pills per day, which is great. Quick one, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, please drop it a like, drop any questions you have in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm now going to talk you guys through how you can empower your body to speak for itself and the importance of data over a human opinion. On the surface, what Bryan is doing may seem like a health, anti-aging, and wellness program, but really it's a system to make tomorrow better for you, me, the planet, and our shared future. If you are watching this video, you're undoubtedly someone that aspires to achieve amazing things. In order to achieve amazing things, we must have as perfect as possible health. When you are healthy, you feel like you can take on the world. When you're sick, the only thing you want is to be healthy again. In order to prevent yourself from getting sick and have as perfect as possible health, we need to quantify our quality of health and get an understanding of what needs to be improved. Bryan and his team routinely take measurements of his 70+ organs and carefully analyze gold standard scientific evidence, informing him and his team of what areas of his health are strong and what areas could be improved. Unlike Bryan, most of us don't have millions of dollars to chuck at quantifying and testing our quality of health, but we can certainly prioritize getting regular blood tests, which will provide us with the data we need to quantify our current quality of health. By getting regular blood tests, you are able to get a clear picture of your tumor markers, hormonal balance, metabolic function, vitamin status, and risk of cardiovascular disease. The tests we now have access to for a few $100s or pounds help us identify disease, optimize for longevity, and maximize our performance. If you live in the US, you can assess your quality of health through services provided by Marek Health. If you live in the UK, you can assess your quality of health through services provided by Medichecks or Bionic. I get my blood tested personally every 3 months by Bionic for £249. And as we discussed earlier, they provide me with supplements that are personalized from my blood test data and results. We live in an incredible period of time in which we are able to access resources and testing methods like blood work to quantify and inform us of our quality of health. Another tool I'd recommend you guys purchase is a sleep tracker. Sleep is the new coffee. The shorter you sleep, the shorter your lifespan. I've now worked with over 650 clients to improve their quality of health and have millions of hours worth of sleep data that I've collected from my clients during this time. It has never been more clear to me, nor anyone else in the health community, that getting high quality sleep is the absolute best protector and enhancer of quality of health, but is also the most unappreciated. Humans are the only species that deprive themselves of sleep. A study published in the journal Sleep Medicine found that a lack of sleep costs the United States over $411 billion and 1.23 million days annually. Sleeping 5 hours per night makes you 200 to 300% more likely to catch a cold than someone that sleeps 8 hours per night. We need more than 7 hours of sleep per night in order to maintain cognitive function. After just 10 days of just 7 hours of sleep consecutively, the brain is as dysfunctional as it would be after going without sleep for 24 hours. Sleeping less than 6 hours per night increases the risk of heart disease by 300%. About 70 million people in the US struggle with sleep disorders. Now that I've made you aware of the importance of sleep, here are a list of things you can do to improve your quality of sleep. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Sleep in a blacked out room with no electronic devices. Wear blue light blocking glasses. Have 1 hour of downtime before bed. Purchase a temperature controlled mattress. Stop consuming food and limit your liquid intake 4 to 5 hours prior to bed. Stop consuming caffeine 8 to 10 hours prior to going to bed. And finally, use a sleep tracker. I'd recommend an Oura Ring or Whoop band to track your quality of sleep and quantify your improvement efforts. As a result of sleeping like a king or queen, you'll be perfectly primed to train and work out. When I first started training and going to the gym 11 years ago, I had 2 goals in mind. Get as big as possible and lift as heavy as possible. 5 to 6 years ago, I made the decision to prioritize longevity and feeling good as opposed to ego lifting and training for aesthetics. The last thing I want to do now is get injured and spend months feeling sorry for myself and watching my health deteriorate as a result of my stupid approach to training. This is Bryan's exact workout routine if you want to try it. Training with the intention of improving your quality of health can be broken down into the following 3 components. Strength train regularly, perform aerobic cardio regularly, and chuck in a bit of anaerobic cardio, interval or high intensity work fairly regularly also. Basing your weekly workouts around these 3 components will set you up for success. I personally work out 5 times per week on my Vitruvian Smart Home Gym, complete 2 aerobic Zone 2 runs, and hit 1 interval track session per week.